Hey guys, Mr. Gardner here, back again with another mini lesson, this time about substitution to fill in a table. So what we're looking at here is this is another way of just practicing our substituting values in for expressions and getting out a value, but this time we're going to be putting our values into a table. And the reason we're doing this is a really good way to get us ready for graphing equations when we get there. So as you see here with this really simple expression, it's just a variable, it's x by itself, so 1x. And so if we were to substitute in these values, if we substituted 1 in, then we would get x equals 1, so the value of that expression would be 1. If x equaled 2, then the value of that expression would be 2, and if x equaled 3, the value of that expression would be 3. And so you can see that as we substitute in these values, we get the same value here because nothing's happening to x, it's just by itself. So let's add some things in here. Let's say x is being added by 1. So if we were to set up this table again, we'll just set up a vertical table, put the x first, and we'll put the value here. Alright, so let's just substitute in the same values. This time let's put 0 into the mix. So let's say x equals 0. So if x equals 0, then 0 plus 1, so we'll just show our work here, equals 1. That's our identity property there. Let's say if x equals 1, then we have 1 plus 1 equals 2. So our value would be 2. If x equals, let's say, 3, then we would have 3 plus 1 equals 4. So then our value here would be 4. So that's really nice. We could put in any value. Let's say 12. Okay, we go in there. We have 12 plus 1 equals 13. And you're starting to see here, every time this goes up 1, this goes up 1, which makes sense because it's adding 1. So if we were to say put 14, then we know this is going to be 15. And you can really start picking up on those patterns. So let's say, what if we have the variable being multiplied? So 2x, so 2x's, or 2 times x. Well, we'll set up our little table, x here, and we'll just put value of the expression here, so value. Again, let's start with 0. What's 2 times 0? It's 0, so that would be 0. Let's say we put in 1. So let's just show our work. 2 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 equals 2. So this would be 2. Let's say we put in 3 this time. So then we have 3 times 2 equals 6. So we have 6. Let's say we go 5. Alright, then we have 5 times 2 equals 10 because we have 2 times x and we're just putting the x right here. And that's going to give us 10. And we can see again, every time this goes up by 2, this one goes up by 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. So that would make sense because we're adding in 2 every time. So again, it's just these little patterns you can start picking up. And let's see if we got a couple things happening. So let's do 2x plus 1. Again, we just make a really nice little table, a little t-chart. Value, that'll go in there. And again, we'll just show a 0. So 2 times 0 plus 1. That's going to give us 0 plus 1, and 0 plus 1 is just 1. So that would be 1. Let's try 1. So we have 2 times 1 plus 1. This is 2 plus 1. That's going to give us 3. And then let's put 3 in, and we'll show our work over here. 2 times 3 plus 1, 6 plus 1, 7. And let's do 5. 2 times 5 plus 1. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 gives us 11. And so again, we just plugged in the values for x. So we're saying x is these values, and when x is these values, the expression has these values here. And so that's how you substitute in to an expression and to create a table of values from that expression.